What is it called gemstones for me, for jeweler? I'm 20 years in this business, and I saw almost everything. Different type of stones which exist in the world and which is used by the jewelers. But the main three is ruby, sapphire, and emerald. The colored gemstones, it's very fragile material, and most of the clients, when they use in their jewelry, especially expensive one, you know, they think that the jewelry must be unbreakable, but it's not true. Because look, when you guys buy a Ferrari or Bentley or even a Bugatti car, so then it does mean that you can, you know, no matter how much money you pay for your car, you know, $500,000 or $1 million or even more, it does mean that your car is unbreakable. And then you have to follow some rules, you know, where to park your car and how to drive it. And then you can't go to the dust or desert, you know, with the Lamborghini or Ferrari. Same with the jewelry, you know. No matter you pay $100,000 or $1 million, $10 million, you know, you must remember one thing: if the jewelry, it falls on the floor, in 50% of the cases, you know, it will be broken. Rubies and sapphires have a hardness 9.5 compared to diamond, which have hardness 10. The most fragile stone, but most beautiful, is emerald, which have a hardness 7.5. And this is a very, very fragile and very sensitive stone. If I tell you about the, you know, every customer, he thinks that he's the smartest one, and then sometimes I just hear from the people, heated or not heated emeralds. You must know one thing: the heated emeralds does not exist. It can be heated or non-heated rubies and sapphires, but never about emeralds. The emeralds, it can be with oil or without oil. Also, a lot of dealers, stone producers, they use in kind of material, synthetic material, like XL. So then each investor, each potential customer who want to buy a very important precious stone and to spend a lot of money for it must to follow some rules and must to know how to read the certificates. As I mentioned in my last movie, we're jewelers. We're using only 2 American labs, which is AGL and GIA, and we're using 3 labs from Switzerland: SSEF, Gubelin, and GRS. So these gemological laboratories normally make a very deep and precise research of every stones and give you pretty clear answer. What do you have on the table in front of you? But be careful, because stones, precious stones, it's a very small and compact financial instrument which costs a lot of money. So that's why a lot of tricks and I would say even the criminal things like swindling and fraud happening when you buy precious stones on the market, and you have to be very, very careful. Because to be honest, for non-professionals, when somebody trade you a stone much less below market, this is the first signal to you that, you know, when somebody telling me, Max, we need money urgently, the guy urgently need money, you know, he's burning, you know, he broke up, you know, he need money urgently. So this is a stone. So for me, it's a signal that better not to touch. Why? Because the color stones, it's a serious investment. You know, you spend hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, and you know, every time I get offers on the market, even from the very serious and trustworthy companies, I'm trying to figure out, is that a real certificate, or this certificate was assured for another stone? Because basically on the color stone, on the ruby, sapphire and emerald, you can't make even the laser engraving with the digital number, you know, the number of the certificate, what you can do with the diamonds. And how you can prove, you know, when you have a Jewellery or SSCF or GRS certificate, how you can prove that the stone in front of you doesn't have any synthetic inside? How you can prove that the stone which the dealer trading for you as a no oil or non-treated, non-heated stone, that this is exactly this particular stone but not something else? So how to, what is the easiest suggestion, the easiest solution for the client to be not cheated? Look, if you invest a big serious money, you better go by yourself with the trader you buy stone from, to the Jewellery lab or SSCF lab in Switzerland, or if you're in New York or Los Angeles, you can go to GIA or AGL lab, and then together with your supplier, and you just give them the stone with the certificate and ask them to check it again, you know, and to produce a new certificate which costs you probably $600, $800, $1,000, you know, but it will save you a lot of money, because you'll get the opinion, independent opinion of gemologist. And then if your supplier reject a visit to the doctor, so be sure that you saved your money, you know, and somebody wanted to cheat you. If I want to suggest the best investment for today in the colored gemstones, so I tell you one simple rule: never buy treated stones, because the treated stones, rubies and sapphires and emeralds, have no value. I mean, you'll never sell them back even for 1/3 price what you paid in jewelry, or if you buy loose stones. For saved long-term investment, the only stones you can assume as a financial instrument, it's emeralds which have no oil, mostly from Colombia, but I love myself very much Afghan material from Panjshir, and I like very much material from Brazil and from Zambia. which is much less in price compared to Colombia. But if you look in the price growth for the last, let's say, 10 years, Brazilian and African materials 10 years ago was almost nothing, you know. You paid the peanuts, and then it was growing at least 15-20% a year for the last 10 years. I don't know any stocks or bonds in the world which can make you so much money in terms of financial investment. If you want my suggestion regarding the sapphires and emeralds, sapphires and rubies, corundum. So then everybody talking about the Kashmir sapphires, but you should know that Kashmir sapphires does not exist on the market from 1970s, you know, because the place, the Kashmir between India and Pakistan, you know, all the mines was exploded during the war, you know, and it's gone. It was just closed, you know. So any Kashmir sapphire which you get today on the market, 99.9% that the stone came from pre-owned jewelry, or sometimes Americans, they call it a nice word, vintage jewelry. What does it mean? It means that someone owned the jewelry before, and it could be one owner, 5 owners, 10 owners. You never know about it, and nobody will never tell you about it. Because for the dealer, just buy a vintage jewelry, take the stone out, make a recut and repolish, produce a new certificate, boom, you know, the stone back on the market. You know, they put it on the Sotheby's and Christie's, you know, and you pay enormous amount of money, $200, $250, $300,000 you pay per carat for Kashmir sapphire, even more, you know. And then the gemologists who purchased the stones, most of them represent a big names, Cartier, Van Cleef, Harry Winston, Graf, Boucheron, Chopard, Chaumet, etc., 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 etc. But just remember one thing: Kashmir sapphires does not exist today, the raw material on the market. That's it. I mean, it's all gone. The old Kashmir sapphires stay in the private collections of the families who doesn't want to sell it, you know. They give it from generations to generations. And very, very, very rare when you can see in some antique shows in Miami or New York or in Europe, you know, where you can see nice jewelry with the Kashmir sapphire, you know. But I strongly believe in that the stones keeping the energy of the previous customers, you know, clients, the owners, masters. And to me, gemstones, I behave with them like they're alive, you know, like it's something like your favorite pet, you know, the dog or cat, you know, and when you lose them, you know, they die. So then we have a pain in our heart and in our soul, you know, and then we crying, you know. I think that it's the same relationships between the owners of the gemstones and stones by themselves. So Just imagine sometimes the color gemstones was produced, or diamonds, you know, was produced by Mother Nature about 7, 10, 15 million years ago. And then people digging these stones from the ground, rough, these crystals, in the mountains of Colombia, in the mountains of Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Burma, China, Madagascar, the whole Africa is rich for the color stones. And people digging, you know. Most of these diggers, it's, you know, poor people, farmers from the villages, children, 5, 6, 10 years old, you know. They're searching for the stones and then they sell them to a lot of middle people, you know, who buying from the villagers, and the people, they risking their lives, going deep underground for searching of sapphires and rubies and emeralds. Sometimes they're losing their lives. So the Mother Nature doesn't make this process very simple and easy, you know, doesn't want to give us human beings this natural product. I was, you know, I'm always calling it a tears of the planet. And the planet doesn't want to give us it, you know, easy, simple. We need to pay for it. And sometimes we pay by human being lives. So imagine that our civilization, what we can talk about, 5, 10,000 years back, based on the artifacts which today placed in the Hermitage Museum, Victor and Albert, Louvre, some other historical museums, you know, we can talk about 10,000 back, not more. So from these days, humans, they knew about the color stones. We can see in different palaces in Turkey, in China. We can see it in the, you know, pyramids of Egyptian pyramids in the Museum of Cairo. We can see it all around the world, you know, that people, they had rubies, sapphires, emeralds and diamonds. But in these days, it was no equipment to cut it properly. So that's why all cut was done like a cabochon style. And humans, they used different techniques for cut and polish of the stones. And one of the technique was to put the color stones in the sand, you know, under the saddle of the under the saddle of the horse rider. So then the guy, when he was riding the horse, the stones was, you know, polishing each other in the sand, and made a roundish forms. After that, it was polished by wood and by leather, using the different type of clay or some dust. Anyway, my idea that the color gemstones are following us from the very beginning, you know, from the very first days of our civilization. But nobody never asking a question, where these stones disappearing after someone get die, you know, or during the big wars, conflicts, epidemics, tsunamis, earthquakes, you know, whatever the big accidents following us in our life. And wherever hundreds of thousands or millions of people die, where all this jewelry, gold, diamonds, rubies, sapphires, emeralds, other stones, where all these things disappearing? And the answer is, just imagine today when you get inside the Cartier boutique and then you ask the salesperson in Paris or in New York or in Moscow or in Dubai, you ask a salesperson, can you tell me the history of this ruby or this sapphire or this emerald? Nobody can tell you anything. So what I'm saying, today, buying the stone, buying the nice rings or earrings from the big jewelry houses, you cannot be sure that this particular stone is staying with us for the last 2,000 years. And there's a big possibility that this stone was worn by a Roman emperor 2,000 years ago, and then it changed already few hundreds or maybe thousands of the owners. Look, the color stones, it was always priority of the wealthy class, of the wealthy people. And it's coming to the owner at the age of, starting probably from 20, 25. In previous times, today, in our days, 30, 35, 40. If we talk about the big rocks, big gems. And then it will stay with you if everything is fine, if there's no collapse in economy, if you have no problem with money, you have no problem with the business when you need to resell it, it stays with you probably for 30 years. So let's say the nice gemstone came to your ownership at the age of 40, so then at the age of 70, 75, you're thinking what to do with it, or even earlier, and then you give it for your daughter or your son, you know, or your grandchildren. You're giving them as a gift for the wedding, for the birth of your grandchildren, or for any occasion. So the good thing that the stones stay in the family. But remember, let's say, you know, the October Revolution of 1917 in Russia. Hundreds of thousands, the wealthy families, aristocrats, blue blood people, they were running out of the country. And they were paying their rings and earrings, you know, and nice jewelry. They were paying as an entry ticket to the last boat out of Russia, just to save their lives of their families, parents, children, wives. And that's what was happening during the 20th century many times. Remember the First World War, remember the Second World War, remember many revolutions, you know, Islamic revolution in Iran, remember all these many things. Remember what's happening today in our days, present days, in the 21st century. Again, Iran, Iraq, Libya, Syria, Algeria, you know, Afghanistan. Look what's happening. So many wealthy families changing their place, changing their lives, you know, running out of the revolutions, out of war. And then I created the word rich refugees, because there's a poor refugees coming to Angela Merkel, you know, for the promises, for the money. And there's the rich refugees, you know, coming to Dubai or Abu Dhabi, you know, some other countries, or to London. And they all trying to escape from the war and revolutions. So again, the stones, the color stones, changing ownerships many times, and we buying the fine jewelry from the boutiques. You can never be guaranteed about how many previous owners this stone, how many lives this stone saw during his history, when it was first time mined, taken out of the ground, and then you know, used by human beings for production of jewelry.